And you could see lots of different charts of this type, looking at segmenting the markets that hydrogen could potentially play into. And again, I'm not going to spend ages on this now. We'll come back to some of the specifics as we go along. But I think it's worth making some points. One is that hydrogen can do a lot of things. In theory, and I say in theory rather than necessarily in practice, in theory we can use it to drive vehicles. We can use it as a fuel for particularly fuel cell cars, fuel cell trucks, fuel cell boats, whatever else you want to put a fuel cell into. You'll be aware probably that there's lots of talk about using hydrogen to replace gas for things like heating. And we can potentially use hydrogen also to produce electricity. That's what a fuel cell does after all. Or at a bigger scale, so if you talk about utility scale, we can burn hydrogen in much the same way that we burn natural gas and produce electricity that way. So I guess one way to look at this is maybe, I mean, these are kind of the sectors I looked at on the previous slide. I regard those as kind of emerging, though. Really, this is where we are now. At the moment, what we use hydrogen for is chemistry, and we'll come back to that. But particularly, we use it for refining. So oil refineries are big users of hydrogen. We use it to produce ammonia, which goes into fertilizer, particularly. So they're current ones, and again in future. Potentially, we can potentially start to turn hydrogen that we generate in a clean manner into hydrocarbon fuels. We might ask the question why we'd want to do that. We can do that later maybe. And also you might be aware of various projects looking at replacing things like coke usage in steelmaking. So again, this side, this sort of right-hand column, this is all about decarbonising, if you like, industrial processes.